Hey everybody, it's Jillian. Good morning. I wanted to do this Vlad video because some of you are new or you're exploring Jelly Juice. I noticed a jump in the views last night when it came to the cancer video or focus around Dustin Diamond. And so for those that are new that don't know really, what to do or what to expect, it's really easy. Jelly Juice is just food. This is not jelly juice, this is water. But I keep this water by my bedside. But usually I drink out of a quart bottle because it's easier. And it's something that it's like a milestone for me. If I'm just starting the jelly juice, maybe I drink maybe 1 cup just to see, and 2 cups, and you work your way up to 4 cups. Now you could do it daily, or you could do it every other day. Or if you are a trucker or someone that works a lot during the week, then you could do it on the weekends and just do like a bunch on the weekends and like on a Friday. Because what's going to happen is when you drink a bunch of J juice, whether it's a quart, 2 quarts, 3 quarts, in like a span of like 15 minutes to an hour, relative to what you can handle. Some of you will throw it up because that's just too much of a new environment. Then you will have waterfalls. Okay? So, and then you can drink water. Okay? So if you can drink 1 quart, 2 quarts, whatever, however much you can drink, you will begin to have waterfalls. You'll have probably feeling really bloated. You might not have waterfalls right away. Okay? You might actually not get waterfalls for a couple weeks, but you may not even get a lot in. Okay, so everyone's different, and if you have more predispositions and you're a bigger person, it's going to be a lot more for the juice to work through, which means it might take a minute for the juice to work through all that poop that's been lodged in your gut for many, many years. So, I would recommend that just do what you can and keep increasing your intake until you get the waterfalls. And then at some point, when you start feeling the healing, whatever it is, then you'll figure out what the best scenario is for you, because sometimes right away you'll get headaches. Sometimes right away you'll get constipation, which means you need to drink more water. Sometimes right away you'll get yeast infections. Sometimes right away you'll get, let's say, hemorrhoids. You'll get skin issues. Sometimes right away you'll have like inflammation in your eye. You'll have all these different things come up, skin issues. You'll have pains in the areas that you've had operations in. I mean, it's so hard to say what all of you are going to experience because you each have your own personal medical history that no one knows about except for you and your doctor and your family, because you can see what your family has died from over the last however many years. So, the whole point of jelly juice is drink a whole lot in a short amount of time, get the waterfalls, drink water, eat food, and, and give yourself some rest. Okay? The thing that people miss the most is they don't rest enough when they're doing the jelly juice. They keep utilizing all that currency, like spending it as soon as it comes out the gate, and then they're depleted. So when you are really gaining some energy and you're feeling amazing, try to just still stick with your usual routine when you are sick so your body can still be able to recalibrate and repair itself. And yeah, you're going to have weird dreams. You're going to feel angry. You're going to go through some hard times, because I'm telling you, it's not that drinking jelly juice is hard. It's just that you're going to be experiencing PTSD from like years and years and years and years ago. And Jessica goes, it took me 3 days for the first waterfall. Now it's shorter after drinking. Drinking water makes our waterfalls continue. Yeah. When you get thirsty, like I was really thirsty, at least probably about an hour after drinking a quart. Okay. And I would have waterfalls until I wasn't thirsty anymore. And then after like a couple hours, some of you, it'll be like 5 hours. It'll be 4 hours. It just depends. All right. But you're going to feel every single way. You're going to have the weirdest dreams. you're going to be triggered too. You're going to have things come to surface. You'll be blowing your nose. You'll be hawking loogies. You'll be, pooping out some weird looking colors. I mean, maybe some parasites. I'm in my group of 2017. People were posting their poop pics with like the parasites and all the different candida, the orange spongy stuff, the candida, and then, weird looking purple stuff, which usually is the drink. But, your body's going to be releasing so many excess acids, and then your bum's going to be all sore. Okay, but that's only in the beginning, it'll happen in the beginning, but then that tapers off. But you'll be doing a lot of waterfalls in the beginning. And the juicier, the better. And so usually I use a straw, or I will hold my breath. I will have either juice or Coke as a chaser, and then water then later when my body's thirsty. But it's good to have something sweet as a chaser. Before I didn't recommend that because I was like, oh, God, stay from sugar, right? No, when you're drinking a quart of J juice, this is just water, right? But when you're drinking a quart of J juice, have if you want to have a Coke right afterwards, have a Coke. If you want to have some juice, pineapple juice, whatever juice, that's fine, okay? If you want to even put fruit syrup inside the J juice after it's been fermented, do what you got to do, especially if you are very underweight and you need to gain calories very quickly. Adding fruit syrup to the Jilly Juice is an amazing way to get the calories and still get your electrolytes. Okay, and that's in my book. I call it the emergency recipe, but it really isn't. I mean, I think back when in 2020, when the COVID first came out and people were dropping like flies, and I'm like, oh my God, here's the emergency recipe. Add some fruit syrup. But that was because actually my dog Sugar, when she first got exposed to COVID, she was shaking like a leaf. Actually, I thought it was the peanut butter that I gave her, but it wasn't the peanut butter. She was going through some kind of weird low sugar hypoglycemic type of reaction to the COVID. And so it took me about a year to get her finally to where she's not having any more seizures from the COVID. No more seizures. She stopped shaking, but she was really bloated, for at least a good week or two. And I'm just like, oh my God. And so, so getting her completely calibrated to this environment was definitely a journey. Okay. But that's why there's the emergency recipe in my book, because the fact that sometimes you'll go through a hypoglycemic type of reaction and you need that straight sugar, but you need the electrolytes too. Okay. So that's the whole point of J juice, is to ferment it for 3 days or more and let it, get really fermented, and then make sure it's juicy, mix and stir. If you have any yeast on the top, big deal. Don't worry about it. If you have mold on the top, you can scoop it off and mix and stir. I mean, as soon as you mix and stir and there's yeast and there's mold on the top, all of the salt and the lactobacillus will neutralize anything pathogenic or potentially pathogenic. It's basically bioremediation, biotransformation. Jilly Juice bioremediates your insides. Okay? And so that's why you don't have to worry about Jilly Juice being poisonous. You don't have to worry about anything mold or yeast being oh my God. No, because Jilly Juice bioremediates. That's what the little lactobacillus bacteria does. That's in your gut that people don't have enough of. And that's why they have cancer, disease, and chronic illness. Because they don't have enough bioremediation little, critters inside to help them mediate the food supply and neutralize anything that could potentially be pathogenic. Okay, so that's why there's a lot of healing on the J juice, because of the probiotics, as well as the salt, the action potential, and the nutrients in the cabbage and kale, and the food supply. That's why we're not mitigating any sugar. We're not pretending, or we're not playing discrimination game against anything. Okay, we are feeding our bodies. Eat ice cream, eat cheese, have a freaking, I don't say chocolate cake, but have a piece of cake. Everything in moderation, and drink the J juice. Okay? Because, now we are in a new era where we're not into those fads. We're not into the trendy shit anymore. We're not playing the, the vegan vegetarian, which I understand, but if you're going to be a vegan and vegetarian, eat a bunch of tofu. Seriously, eat a bunch of tofu. Because that's the complete protein that is missing in a vegan and vegetarian diet. So, we're in a new era where there is no food discrimination. People are malnourished. They're dropping like flies. They can't handle this new virus. I just hawked up another freaking veggie burger in the shower this morning. Like, I just got up and I took a shower and I'm like, oh, I don't feel bad, but I could feel something in my throat. Hey, John. And so I just hawked and another freaking veggie burger came out. So I'm like, okay, whatever. That's what you have to do, is you have to get it all out. And if it's green and it's like solid, that's like, holy crap, that was something that was in there that could have turned into something if I didn't get it out. If I didn't have the wherewithal and the commitment to get it out, let me tell you, people are harboring that kind of stuff in their body on a daily basis, and then they're being diagnosed with disease. You know why? Because they don't have enough of the will to live and the action potential to get out the things that don't belong. So that's why the Jelly Juice is so amazing, because it does activate your immune system. It activates all of your cells. It cleanses it because there's sodium channels, potassium channels. Okay. And those actually help wash out your cells from everything that is horrible, and it recalibrates your hormones. So that way, then also too, you can absorb the food supply and then balance yourself out without being on a string of freaking prescription drugs. And yeah, you're going to have to feel your symptoms. You're going to have to feel everything you could ever imagine you've ever dealt with, whether it's that trauma from war, whether it's from that bad relationship, whether it's from, when you abused that prescription drug or psychedelic drugs. Some of the, earlier in my group, some of the people were experiencing some of the, the flashbacks when they were in the psychedelics. They're like, oh my God, I feel like I could, I'm re-experiencing the psychedelic time. And I'm like, I'm sure you have a huge history. So some of you will be revisiting some of the history, and, and if it's scary to you, then, then don't do the J juice. But if you're willing to face that, let people know around you, your loved ones, that you're going to be doing the J juice, and they're going to have an issue with it, of course, but then you better know the science behind it so you can back that shit up, or else you have no leg to stand on. You'll fall right into the fear campaigns that are out there because people do not read science. But yeah, all the therapies out there are meant to suppress so you don't face your demons. Or they make you face your demons and it re-injures you and you're not rebuilding and regenerating at the same time simultaneously. See, that's the other side of when you're being forced to face your demons, you're not being supported correctly. Even though, yeah, your therapist or whoever is like all beautiful and smiley and giving you, little touches here and there, and you think, oh, I'm being supported correctly. But in reality, no. You've been re-injured and you really haven't regenerated at the micro level. But you were like given like a drug, like somebody's oxytocin, when they're like, oh, it's okay, client, you're doing fine. When an empath or whoever has that kind of ickily, oozy, sweet voice straight from the oxytocin, you've been drugged by a person who uses their hormones as a way to hypnotize their clients. And hey, no offense to all of you that do that, but that's what happens. So you're not really healing the person, you're just, suppressing the evolution and covering it up with hormones, even though they're from you and you're not really exchanging any bodily fluids, but it's the energy. And it's not healing energy, it's energy that covers up and masks the issues. Okay? And so J juice is raw, it's real. You got to face it. It's like getting in the trenches. It's not playing war games like in a closed up room pushing buttons, which is what they do over there in the lab, is they push buttons. They make little things to tweak your biochemistry. It's not like that. You either deal with all of your issues or you deal with none of your issues, but there is no picking and choosing your symptoms. Oh, I'm just going to deal with Jelly Juice with just, my kidney issues, but ignore my heart, lungs, and everything else. No, that's not how it works. Everything's connected. But the holistic allopathic world actives, everything is disconnected. And that's where we're going to get away from. But those that are still following the Pied Piper, like Dr. Fauci and whoever, they're actually trying to weed out those that don't really have it within them to handle any kind of evolution, as well as know how to research. Okay? So, so don't worry about those that take the vaccines. Don't worry about those that do all the therapeutics. They're meant to do that because they're weeding out all the people that, that are not going to be strong enough through the new world. And they're showing that they're not strong enough. They're taking their prescription medications. They're getting all Reiki'd up. They're, doing all these therapeutics. Obviously, they're not strong enough, especially in this environment. And when you start doubling up on all of your therapeutics, you're not strong enough. That's the barometer of why they're targeting the people out there, whether you don't take a vaccine or you do take a vaccine. But if you are in the therapeutics and you are partaking in the therapeutics, you're not strong enough for this new environment. And that's the point of Jilly Juice, is weeding out who's strong enough for the environment, who is eradicating the therapeutics, whether it's Reiki, whether it's prescription drugs, whether it's massage, whether it's who knows what. Bye, John. But I'm telling you, the New World Order is weeding out those that cannot handle the environment, those that are too dependent on the system. So, anyways, I'm going to go do my stuff. I got to take care of my dog, but do Jilly Juice and, eat food, get your waterfalls. You might be constipated, do the Jilly Juice. So, absolutely, Patricia. Nice to see you. Everybody have a good day. Bye.